tonight allows people a release for all the hatred and violence that they keep up inside them.
Why don't you guys kill someone tonight?
Hello everyone and welcome to another video by Centipede Geek. Today I'm going to discuss my thoughts and opinions on the film titled The Purge. This film is directed by a man by the name of James DeMonaco, and he is known for writing the Crash TV series. He also wrote the Kill Point TV series. He wrote the film called Skinwalkers, and then he also did the screenplay for the film called Assault on Precinct 13. And then he's also done a few other things, but those are his most notable things. This film titled The Purge stars actors and actresses such as Ethan Hawke, Lana Headey, Max Burkholder, Adelaide Kane, and Tony Oler. And pretty much what the main plot of The Purge is, it actually has an extremely interesting concept, and the concept that I really haven't seen too much like it before. Pretty much what the concept of The Purge is, it takes place roughly from our period about 9-10 years in the future. I believe it takes place in the year of 2022. And what we have is our economy is doing a lot better than it is now. It's like, it's rising. The world is great. There is like the unemployment is at like 1%, I believe, and the crime has went extremely well low. And the reason for that is every year they have something called the Purge, and that is where for 12 hours all crime is legal. You can kill somebody, you can rape somebody, you can hit somebody in the face. Any crime you can think of is now legal, and this only lasts for 12 hours. And during this 12-hour period, you can't call the cops, you can't call the fire department, you can't call the hospital, the ambulances, or anything like that. You're pretty much stick it to your guns, stick it to yourself, and everything is on you, and you have to defend yourself. You either have to participate in the Purge or just lock yourself inside your house with the 12 hours being and try to survive. That's pretty much the main the concept of the Purge. What the actual plot is, we have main actors Ethan Hawke and Lana Headey, and in this film they're a couple. And what Ethan Hawke does, he creates these security systems for the houses on his street. And Ethan Hawke's character and his family, they do not participate in the Purge. They don't feel like it's necessary. So when the Purge comes, they just all lock themselves down in the house and wait through the 12 hours for things to get over. That is until one of their kids sees a man running outside, and one of the kids decides to let this man in. And there seems to be certain people that are hunting that man down, and that's pretty much the main plot. I don't want to say any more because I don't want to give any more of the film away. That's the plot of the horror film titled The Purge, starring Ethan Hawke and Lana Headey. Overall, my thoughts and opinions on the 2013 film titled The Purge, I really enjoyed this film. If you wanted to sum what this film was, it kind of merges a lot of different genres together. But at heart, I would say it's pretty much a horror home invasion film. It starts off being kind of a slow burn horror, and then it slowly turns into a sort of home invasion thriller. But what this film does pretty well, and at times it kind of gets in the way because it tries to do different things, and at times it succeeds, and then at times it doesn't. But overall, I really enjoyed The Purge as a whole. At times it starts off being kind of a slow burn horror, and then it turns into kind of like an action thriller, with Ethan Hawke running around with a gun, and then it turns back into a horror, and then it kind of turns into a home, your kind of classic home invasion film, and then back into a horror. So like I said, it tries to do all these different things, and I thought for the most part it worked really well. And then at times I wish it played itself as more of a horror film, because at times those other genres just got in the way. But overall, I really enjoyed The Purge. It tried to do a lot of things, and I think for the most part it worked. So I really enjoyed The Purge. I liked the different genres it tried to intertwine. And for most of the part, they didn't really get in the way. And then at other times, I think it may have just tried to do too much. But one of the things I did like about The Purge was the overall concept of the film. This was a really unique, a really interesting, and overall just a really creative concept, a really cool premise, that adds a lot of social commentary. I mean, the best thing about this film is the overall premise and the concept, and just it's so creative. About when else have we seen this? Well, all crime is legal for 12 hours, and I think the story is told in such a great way where we're actually we're starting to think to ourselves, what would I do in this situation? Would I kill everybody involved in order to protect my family? Or would I participate in the purge in order to get out my inner self, in order to purge, to get out the inner anger or the inner rage and wrath that is in myself? So I mean, it's a really nice social commentary concept that, like I said, adds a lot of social commentary and and political and governmental concepts that you don't see a lot in films nowadays. It's sometimes hard to find some social commentary in a film. Well, The Purge intertwines a lot of social commentary where the concept is definitely the best thing about the film. Some of the other things I liked was Ethan Hawke. Ethan Hawke's performance is quite striking in this film. I really liked him. You really get to see this, minor spoilers coming up. You really get to see this man that, goes from being like this nice, good-hearted father, not wanting to participate in the purge at all, to going to like this guy that will do whatever necessary, whatever it takes to protect his family, and he'll go, through all costs to do so. So I really enjoyed him in it. I thought he was quite good. And then we have Lena Headey, who plays his wife in the film. I thought she was also really good. There's some scenes I liked towards the end with her character, and overall her performance was definitely above average for me, at least. Then we have a villain character, and he's the one in the I believe his name is Tony Oler, and he plays a character by the name of Henry, I believe. And he is the one that you see in the mask with kind of the long blonde hair. He looks like he's in his maybe mid-20s in the film, maybe even younger. And he's the one that is, pretty much hunting down the guy that they let into the house. And overall, as a villain, I thought he was really well done. He had a really nice formal way, a very, I guess you could say, professional way of speaking and talking, and he had some really memorable dialogue. The script and screenplay and the dialogue in this film was quite good, especially with this character and other characters such as Ethan Hawke and Lena Headey, as I said earlier. And overall, Tony Oler playing him, he was very creepy. He played his character in a great fashion, and that's, he was just a great character. And then they have a young boy. I don't know the actor's name, but he's young. He looks like he's maybe no older than maybe 13 or 14, maybe even younger. And he has long black hair. He's the one that runs around with like a little, RV and a little dead baby car with a remote control, has like a camera in it. I enjoyed his character also. He was kind of sympathetic. He kept asking his father, he's like, hey, why don't we participate in the Purge? And I liked his character also. Some other things I liked about the Purge was there were a lot of unexpected things I didn't expect. I'm not going to say what they are, but there's about 3 different twists that I did not see coming at all. And overall, I really liked those 3 twists. They came out of nowhere, so those 3 twists were really well done. And overall, I just liked those twists a lot. Just so you guys know, some major spoilers coming up. One of the things I thought was a little lackluster about the film was the villain, Henry, dying off so quickly. He had a good little, I guess you could say, maybe 30-minute segment or so, but then he just all of a sudden dies off towards the end, and then another character gets introduced, and it's a nice little twist that I liked, but I really wished him as a villain would have lasted a lot longer, because he was a nice villain, and I just wanted his role to be a lot bigger, and I wanted him to be the main villain. But then another character is introduced then, and that was another complaint of mine in the film, that I wish his character would have lasted just a little longer. Another thing I liked about the film was the home invasion concept. I always love a good home invasion horror thriller. The Purge is nowhere near as good as films such as, the Straw Dogs remake that came out, a few years back. Back in 2011, I believe, and nowhere near as good as the Mother's Day remake that came out last year, I believe. But overall, it was still a pretty decent home invasion film that intertwines some good concept, intertwines some good genres together. And then we have a great concept and some really, well-written performances overall. Just so you guys know, The Purge is going to have a sequel. They already planned a sequel. The production company behind it named Blumhouse. It's going to be called The Purge 2, apparently. Not that we really need a sequel to this sort of film. And then James DeMonaco, who wrote and directed the first one, is going to also write The Purge 2, though I don't know if he will direct it yet because I don't think a director has been announced. So if you did enjoy The Purge, be looking for a Purge 2 in the next probably 2 or 3 years. Anyways, this is my review for the horror film titled The Purge for the year of 2013. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe to the page below, and I'll see you guys later with more videos by Centipede Geek.